Well, hello, good evening and good morning if you're in South Africa or in South Africa or Europe. And yeah, look, I thought we'll start early because my son went to sleep early, which is nice. And yeah, thought we'll just get cracking onto it because yeah, it's Thursday. Well, it's Thursday night in New Zealand. It's Thursday morning in South Africa, and I've got Llewellyn from South Africa, from the sports club. And yeah, I thought we've got a with the South, we've got a mini two test series between the All Blacks and South Africa. It's not the only big rivalry on the weekend. Of course, you got Manchester United, Liverpool on that's Monday. That's sort of Sunday afternoon South Africa time and Monday morning New Zealand time. But yeah, look, no, certainly it's a weekend of rivalries. But yeah, look, so first up, now I have, as you might have noticed, I have a new mic headset. So, and I did test it out, and it seems like the audio is a bit better. I did have my earlier setup, which for the Myth of Damien McKenzie interview, which yeah, unfortunately for my side, it didn't quite work out. So let's fingers crossed this works out this time, because I yeah, with the help of work, with the help of the workshop, I was able to get this. But yeah, so look, on to yeah, I might actually just recap. Yeah, Llewellyn, what just for those who have never seen you, like yeah, just introduce yourself. The sports club.
What's up, everyone? It's Llewellyn. I'm from the Sports Club, South Africa. Just love sports in general, like rugby, cricket, basketball, Formula One. I mean, you name it, I probably watch it.
Nice. And speaking of watching of all sorts of sports, I imagine. I think when did we speak? Was that about a month ago when we first spoke, when we first chatted?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, well, that would have been like I guess that would have been like the sort of the start, maybe start middle of the Olympics. Can't remember.
Yeah, it
It
was
seems
in
like
the
an
middle
age
of the
ago.
Olympics, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah. How did South Africa? I mean, New Zealand had a really, really like we won 10 gold medals, which is the most we've ever won at Olympics, and yeah, and we won a gold medal on the final day of the Olympics, which was pretty cool. Which has never happened before because normally all New Zealand's events are done by the final day. How did South Africa go? I think yeah.
In total, we took 6 medals, 1 gold, which isn't our best performance, let's be honest. But we are looking forward to the Paralympics that I think started yesterday, actually, or
Yeah,
something like that.
they had the opening ceremony. I think it was yes, you are right. Yesterday. Well, I mean, it was this morning in New Zealand time. So yeah,
Yeah.
we had.
So we're just looking forward to that, hoping we
I didn't
can
actually
take
quite
some
see it.
medals
Yeah,
aside.
did you see the opening ceremony?
I actually did not.
No, sounds like it wasn't as controversial as the opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics, or haven't. Nothing that's really, because of course that was very polarizing. So yeah, but yeah. But yeah, yeah, no, New Zealand, we're certainly quite excited. We don't, our most successful Paralympian is not at this, not at this event because she just had a baby and she's going to be on the TV presenting. So I was like, yeah, that's going to be a bit weird. But yeah, no, we still have plenty of other medal chances.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we're just looking forward to that now, and obviously the rugby this weekend. My boys versus your boys.
yes, yeah. So that is, I mean, I think pretty much everyone's focused on this. I think everyone's sort of been waiting for this for well, I guess it's how long has it been? Nearly like a year. I think 9 months, nearly short, maybe 9 months approx. Yeah, since that night in Paris, the rematch, the All Blacks versus the Springboks, and look, everyone, whether it's Rugby World Cup or it's or even a friendly like the before the Rugby World Cup. Yeah, everyone always looks forward to these two meeting. It's like it's one of the great sporting rivalries in the world. Like football. You've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, or international Brazil, Argentina, or Manchester United, Liverpool, as I spoke about, and yeah, so rugby has got All Black South Africa, and I guess English fans might say Welsh or Scottish fans might say it's England, but hey, but this for our southern hemisphere, this is it. So Um, yeah. So look, I think both sites have been named. We might. Now I'm going to try this. So I think, and I'm sure I tested it out just before. We might talk about both sides and um. Oh, brilliant! The Zoom works. So we got the South African side, which was named first. I think it was about nearly. I think it was almost like 24 hours ago. So yeah, look, I think from a New Zealand look, I guess from a New Zealand point of view, unfortunately, like with all the with all the South African Super Rugby, the South African teams no longer playing in Super Rugby. New Zealand fans and South Africa, most of the URC games are like overnight, so it's obvious it's definitely harder to watch them as there was. So naturally, the knowledge of the South African players is not as much as it used to, but I mean, certainly there are some recognizable names. You've got Bongi and Sai Khaleesi there. Peter Steph du Toit was man of the match at the Rugby World Cup final. You've got the Alanda Kriel, Cheston Colby, obviously, but and then you've got Marks on the bench. But yeah, certainly there are a couple of names there. And look, I should mention, of course, yeah, there's certainly the big talking point has been around Eben Etzebeth. But yeah, what's the deal with Luella? What's the deal with Eben?
Honestly, I'm not sure why he was left out of the initial squad because I kind of missed that part a little bit with all the sport going on around. But let's just talk about the team in general quickly, right? I'm not saying this is a bad team at all. Like honestly, I think this is a very good team, a very young team. But
Yeah,
some guys I might not agree with. Could be Kobus Reinig. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but that's just like a personal thing. I would much rather have Grant Williams starting this game and him playing off the bench. But
right.
yeah, honestly, I don't feel there's too many things I would change, except also Ruan Norkia is not someone I would necessarily have picked in the squad. But yeah, otherwise, it's not a bad team, but some slight tweaks.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, yeah, I think the big observation is that yeah, your coach loves the six. It looks like it's a 6-2 split on the bench.
Yeah, it's a 6-2 split. Grant and Pollard
Yeah,
on the bench. But, that's just how we do. We need another scrum on the bench.
yeah. So tell me about this Grant Williams guy. So I've seen a little bit. Yeah, is he? Just tell me. Oh yes, what? Just tell me a bit more about him. I've heard. Yeah, like I've seen bits of him. He's like
Yeah, Grant
seems like a
Williams
rising
is
star.
a young player. He's playing for the Sharks at the moment. Still up and coming, I would say.
Hmm.
I think he's not quite much older than I am. I think he's like 27 or something, plus
Oh,
minus, right?
okay.
You see, he's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
into the prime of his career now. He's been with the
Right. So
Sharks for his whole career, and he's really been one of the better scrummies that you can also use on the wing. As you can see, he's
yeah.
been playing pass a couple of times.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He's sort of been one who's sort of been talked up. I mean, I guess for New Zealand fans, yeah, as I said, like, yeah, I mean, Bongi, we know about him. Peter Steph du Toit, Sai Khaleesi, the captain, obviously, and all those other players. Arensa, Colby. Um, what is it? Tell me about Sasha Feinberg. And I apologize for the pronunciation. Gomezulu. Yeah,
Now,
tell me
Sasha
about.
Feinberg, that's another player, right? Like, I'm not saying he's better than Pollard, don't get me wrong, but I'm loving that we're starting him and using him while he's young, building him up as our number 10 for the next World Cup, getting him in the system already, because he's been a fine player at the moment, just, doing his thing, running the back line, and I mean, he can kick pretty well. That's been our biggest problem at fly off. He's getting a fly if we can play and kick,
Yeah.
so it's kind of and he can, like on his day, he can kick very well, but he also has his days that he kind of just, forgets to bring his kicking boot. So, but honestly, on the field, he's a very good player. He spots the gaps very well. He's a leader in the back line, like you want your fly off to be.
Yeah. How just yeah, just obviously for those who not really, I guess, seeing this, don't really know a lot of these new names. Like who does he play for? How old is he?
Sasha, he plays for the Stormers, I think, and then he's not that old actually. He's actually younger than I am. I think he might be like 22 or something,
Oh wow,
23.
okay.
He's still very young.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like the Stormers have. Who was the other guy the Stormers had? Apologies, the names. He was at the World Cup. The guy,
Mani Labok.
yeah. What's happened with him?
Mani is a very inconsistent kicker, to say the least. One day he can kick excellent, and the very next day he doesn't get one. He gets how to kick completely. So
Yeah,
very inconsistent. He's a very good playmaker. Don't get me wrong. I love Mani Labok on the field, right? But very inconsistent when it comes to kicking. And when you're playing for the best team in the world, or well, not. I'm saying that we're better than the All Blacks, but if you're playing for the world champions, you can't be
yeah.
that inconsistent.
I guess it's sort of like yeah, because this game plan, you guys have always, as you say, you need like a first five who, is who is a good goal kicker. It's like I guess also, all Blacks fans are used, we're used to all your great goal kickers, like who just have got like what 90% success rates. Like you're thinking,
Exactly. If you just look of the past few years, we had people like
that's your
Joel
asset.
Stan,
Yeah,
North
Mornay,
Boot,
Mornay Stain.
Rivalry, Mornay Steyn, Andre
Yeah,
Pollard. We're known for our good goal kickers. And
and
Mani
there's
Labok
Andre
is
there.
just too inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah. I think because he played against Ireland, didn't he? So yeah, I think that was one. Was that? I think recall that might have been an issue, like the goal kicking, like he missed
Yeah,
sort of in
he
those
missed a
tight
couple
games.
against Ireland, which could
Yeah,
have, which I'm not saying that it did cost us because Ireland, I think, also missed a kick or two. So I'm
yeah.
not saying that is what cost us, but it could have been what cost us against Ireland, and
But
it came
yeah,
that
but
close.
as you know, like these games are so close. Like, it's only like they're both like Ireland, South Africa, New Zealand, France. They're all like really good sides. So and it's really there's not a whole lot to separate them. So when you get the points, and as you know, like the World Cup final. You guys won, but imagine if Jordy Barrett had got that kick, it could have been a different story. So it's just all that interest, and
Exactly.
that's why, yeah. And you could,
Kick
yeah,
and
I'm
win the
not
match,
saying that,
no
yeah, I'm
matter how
not
you
saying
look
it's
at it.
like guarantee. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but it certainly helps if you can have someone you can rely on who will get you out over the line 9 out of 10 times. So yeah.
Exactly.
So is
Because
Sasha?
all those kicks you miss, they add up, hey? If you
Yeah,
miss 3 kicks in a game, 2 penalties and a conversion, that's what? 8 points. It's more than a
yeah,
try.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll talk about the All Blacks in a bit, but I mean, just with our goal kicking and all that. But like, so I imagine Sasha is going to be the one taking the goal kicks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would be the one because there's no one else really, as a kicker that's on the field. I mean, Pollard's on the bench, so
Yeah, yeah.
obviously
Is
he's
it?
going to be the one taking over once he comes on. But it's not to say that they're going to be putting him at fly off, replacing Sasha. Because I think
Yeah.
it was last week against, or not last week, the week prior against Australia. Mani Libok started, and then they brought Pollard onto the field, and later they moved Pollard to centre and then brought Sasha onto the field. So,
Also, yeah, Sasha and Pollard on the bench last week. Oh, I
yeah,
mean, the week before. You're right. I can't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I okay. Yeah, yeah. I didn't. Yeah. So like, clearly, I because I didn't quite. I saw the highlights for that game, the Australia South Africa game in Perth, but like obviously, yeah, there's just a heap, with the All Blacks and heaps of stuff. I didn't quite follow the teams, but yeah. So that's yeah. So certainly, is Andre what's the deal with Andre? Is he sort of now? What's his role in the Springboks nowadays?
like Andre is the proven one, right? He's proven himself time and time again that he can deliver when need be. So at the moment, he's more of a mentor role to Sasha, backing Sasha up. Like you can see that the Springboks are focusing on Sasha as our next flyer. So yeah, Pollard's just in a more of a supportive role. he's on the bench. You know, when we need him, we can bring him on. In, like if we need him early in the game, we can bring him on if Sasha's playing bad or something. But he's there to help Sasha, you know, and
Yeah.
help him improve. Because I mean, who else to learn from than Pollard, the man who won us the World Cup by 1 point a couple of times?
Yeah. Oh, Pollard's a world class. I mean, he's one of the best players in the
Exactly.
world. It's
Who
like,
better to learn from
yeah.
than one of the
What?
best in business?
How? Like, just wondering. Yeah, just for our viewers who don't know, like, how old is Pollard? How old is Pollard at the moment?
I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna have to Google that actually.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, because I mean, we'll talk about this. It's a sort of scenario at the All Blacks as well, which we'll talk about in a bit more certainly. But yeah, so yeah, and it's certainly quite great. Like, and it's just I guess the faith that Rassi's showing in Sash, someone so young, and then they've got, but I guess you've got 100 there. I guess
Yeah,
if you were to if you go to a half glass empty approach, it's like, oh, if Rossi could chuck Andre on at halftime, and is that like kind of like an indictment that Sasha's not playing well? I guess depending on what the game state is. But yeah,
exactly. And
no,
believe it or not, Pollard is 30 already, eh?
30, yeah. So it's definitely a very very good scenario, and certainly it's a luxury that that I guess I'll be certainly interested to see how Sasha goes on the weekend. And I think that's probably the first time really get to see him. So like I said, because we in New Zealand we don't get to see the South African teams as much as we used to, like pre COVID-19. So yeah, like certainly Sasha. I think this will be the first time like most All Blacks New Zealand rugby fans get to see Sasha. So yeah, it should be. I mean, we love watching you guys, and I think that's something we miss in Super Rugby. And I know that we don't miss the travel and all those time zone changes, but we certainly miss seeing all these your top guys, South African guys, and the quality, and yeah, so there'll be certainly something to watch. Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, to you, right? We're feeling the exact same way. Like looking at the All Blacks team these days. Back in the day, I could name half of the team like off my by hand. Like you're the constant players. Now I have to think about it. But at least it's easy. You can scratch three names off by saying one name alone. Barrett.
Yeah, and for me, I guess I'm getting to a stage where it's like, and I was watching the rugby. I took my sons to watch the NPC, the National Provincial Championship game. It's Wellington Manawatu on the weekend, and you just can't. I mean, apart from like Duplessis Karifi is like, wow, he's that sort of like, I mean, you just don't know all the names of the players, and it's sort of like an age where you're like, I don't know the names of these players. It's like, okay, yeah, they're just like all younger than me. I mean, you might have one who's, you have like that like a Francois Steyn, for example, who just doesn't seem to retire. Like, yeah, and I mean, he put him in a bill bulk, but it's like those players are just so
John
rare.
Steyn
Like,
was class.
yeah, Francois Steyn, I love that guy. What's he
That's one
doing
of
now?
my favorite players. He's coaching by the Cheetahs.
Yeah, because
Ah,
yeah,
that's
it's
class.
it's funny how he developed. Like, he was just like, when I first saw him play, was it 2005 or six? Might have been 06. Can't be 2005. He would have been, yeah. And he was like quite scrawny, and and then you see him by the time he was playing, like,
Finished
was
with
was
the
he
beat.
wasn't the did he make the 2022 Rugby World Cup? Sorry, my memory's a bit
The
short.
2021, yeah, or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
actually 2019
And
actually.
yeah, but was he in 2023? I can't remember. Or he might
No,
have.
he
I think
wasn't
he
playing.
nearly made it. Yeah.
No, he wasn't
But
playing.
no, but yeah, like it was sort of like, to the extent he was like, yeah, he was still, he's like, hang on, he was around when like Dan Carter and Richie McCaw were playing, and by the time he retired, he was like, this bulky guy. I was like, whoa, he's bulked up. It's like, and he
Yeah,
was, that's just amazing. It's like, and you thought Dan Carter or Ma Nonu even played for ages, but what, yeah, but yeah, Francois Staines amazing, yeah. Actually, I should ask. So you mentioned about one, questions about the look forwards. I mean, I guess, yeah, if it's to believe that Evans on the bench, so it would still be Peter Def, Toy, and Ron. Tell me about Ron. Oh, you mentioned Ron. I apologize for the pronunciation. Ron Neuer. You had some question marks about him starting. What's the deal with him? Oh, I think we've had a power blackout. Oh no, they've had. I think we've lost our friend. Oh no! Ouch. We've just lost Llewellyn, so might just be a bit of a power failure. But yeah, look, certainly, yeah, some interesting. Just. All right, hang on. Might be able to.
Man,
I
a
was like,
bit of
oh, we were
technical
chatting.
issues here.
Oh, no worries. It happens. Yeah, yeah. I was like thinking, oh, has he had a rolling blackout? Have you had one of those? What did they call those rolling blackouts in South Africa?
Load shedding.
Load sharing. Yeah, it's like
We
what you had a
didn't have
load
that.
sharing moment.
No, my roommate's kid accidentally pulled out the Wi-Fi plug.
Oh
So I'm on
no.
my data
Oh, that
now.
was fast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
so I went over to my data.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, yeah.
when
Hopefully
the
your Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
will be
comes
up
back,
soon.
it's just gonna kick in, and
I
take
know what that
over.
we've actually had like really bad weather this week, and at work I've lost like my. It's like the internet goes off at the worst times possible. It's like, oh no, it's like I'm disconnected, sir, and it's like, oh yeah. But so I was gonna, yeah, I don't know if you caught that. Yeah, Ron Neuer. If I sorry if I pronounced that wrongly.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
Neuer. What you said? You said earlier that he's a bit of he's a selection that you weren't sure. Um, what
Yeah,
what what?
honestly, like, I can't even say much about him because I don't really know him as a player. He's not really someone that's on the radar, like in the popular player general, if you understand what I mean. I don't even know for which team he plays for, to be honest. I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
could be the Bulls. Let me
yeah,
quickly have a look. I don't
yeah.
honestly,
I
I can't tell
imagine
anything about.
because if Evans, sounds like Evans probably Evan Etzebeth is probably going to be on the bench if he's fit.
Yeah,
I mean, again, Rossi seems to throw up these things. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, oh, Ron runs out and then after 10 minutes, Evan comes on through some sneaky way. I mean, sorry, being cynical, it's like, yeah, we've seen this happen. It's like, yeah, he's
yeah.
just going to bring him, but he's like, oh, yeah, he's all, you know, but yeah, so that So if it, is that Marco Van Staden? Is that I guess imagine Marco would if Evans in Marco is it Marco Van Staden?
Marco van Staden.
Van
Yeah,
Staden, yeah.
yeah, he's uh, yeah, he's playing on flank. He's a pretty decent player. He's also with the Bulls. He's been playing for a while for the Springboks now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
I was
he's
just
part of
thinking of
our setup
Eben.
for like the last 3 years actually.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was just thinking of Eben. If Eben Etzebeth is on the bench, I'm just wondering who drops out. So there we
I
go.
think it's gonna be
Hmm.
Norkia.
Yeah, yeah. And then Quagga Smith. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Hey, Parker is another player I like.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, yeah, yeah. I've not seen him for a bit now. Yeah, he's like one of those players who's just really annoying. I think the first time we saw really knew him was like the Super Rugby final, and was it 2017 when they played the Crusaders?
Playing with
He
the
got red carded.
Lions.
Yeah, he got. Did he get
Yeah.
a red card for that? Yeah.
Ned, that's still like I'm a Lions fan personally, Ned, and that's still like the worst moment in rugby history for me.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was.
Like I'm not saying we would have won if we haven't gotten a red card like 2 seconds into the game, but I think we would have stood a better chance.
Yeah. It's the first time. No, sorry, the second. I mean, certainly the first time the Crusaders have won a Super Rugby final in South Africa, and yeah, I mean they've won finals away from home, so they won away from New Zealand. But yeah, certainly South Africa, that was particularly in such a hard place, and yeah, it was pretty impressive. And then yeah, I mean Marks is on that. I guess yeah, Mark. I guess we're now used to like Marks being like the impact hooker.
Coming off the bench of some power, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
Personally,
think
I would
Bongi.
start him any day of the week because he's kind of like my favorite player in the world.
Mm, yeah, it's just I guess because Bongi is pretty good. I mean, I think he was really superb at last year's World Cup. I mean he had that injury issue, but yeah, he's just yeah, and of course now bringing back memories. Yeah, you guys were like that final. It was kind of like you were kind of like down. You're pretty much your prop was it or your was it your prop or flanker was playing? Was the next backup hooker because
Yeah, it
Bonnie wasn't.
was Flanker.
That wasn't sick. Yeah, I think that actually happened. He came on, didn't
Yeah,
he?
I think
'Cause,
that
yeah,
actually was Marco van Staden.
that was. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
I
I was
actually
like,
think it was actually Marco van Staden playing hooker that time.
that's right. Yeah, I mean, you got and it was that. I mean, a lot of all the things that the least expected things that people were saying, oh they talk about it. They actually quite a few of them actually happened that final. So it's kind of like I mean, oh wow. Yeah, I'm so actually, and then we'll get onto the All Blacks. I know someone's mentioned the All Blacks, Sandor Clegane. Yeah, you get that Game of Thrones reference. Sandor Clegane, he's a
Honestly,
captain.
no. That's one thing
Yeah,
I've never watched was Game of Thrones.
yeah. Sandor Clegane's one of the knights. I think I can't remember what's he. Yeah, yeah. In King's Landing. So he's like this really big guy. The ABs are going to be difficult, but the Boks need to beat them to cement their status as the best. Well, I mean that's logical. You'd certainly at Ellis Park. I mean, that's kind of like your headquarters, and
That is, personally, I consider Ellis Park as, like South Africa's home ground because that's where we've won most of our big games. Am I right or am I wrong? That's where we
yeah,
won
yeah,
the World Cup.
yeah, yeah, and we've got like it's our version. It's your version of Eden Park, and I mean, I did see, I haven't got the stats up there, but I guess, and it's often like perhaps you remember the victories more like the All Blacks record at Ellis Park is actually better than what people might expect it to be. I
That
think
wouldn't surprise me.
I mean they've certainly. I think they've certainly lost more games there, but like it's not as bad as you think. I mean, like like certainly like Eden, not like Eden Park where no one's won for 40 years or something. Did you see that? I don't. Did you see the stat the other night? I think it was the All Blacks Argentine. They put out the stat about how many games the longest winning streaks at a particular ground,
And then
and the All Blacks was
yeah, and then
41
it's
at Eden
the All
Park.
Blacks at Murrayfield.
Yeah, I was like, oh dear, that's
Yeah,
like
I'm not
showing the
sure. But
plot.
the one at Murrayfield kind of was funny for me.
It was hilarious. I mean, I was like, oh dear. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So no, it certainly be interesting. Hey, quick last bit before we move on to the All Blacks. Um, Ben Jason Dixon, what and Jesper Visa, what? Yeah, just I guess their sort of names not quite familiar. I mean, tell me a
Yeah,
bit more about them.
Jasper Vissa, he's playing with Pollard and at Leicester for the Tigers.
Oh
He's a
yes,
pretty good eight. I'm not gonna lie to you, he's a pretty good eight. So, but funny enough, we also don't know that much about him because he was playing most of his career in the Premiership, and a lot of South Africans, for some reason, we don't watch the Premiership. So most of
yeah,
our exposure to him as well was via the Champions Cup, and then when he was playing for the Springboks itself. At the start, I
right,
wasn't a fan of him because I was like, "Who is Jasper Visa? Like, who's this guy? I've never heard of him." But meanwhile,
yeah.
I just never watched where he's playing, which is
So
actually
has
so.
he? This is Jesper Visa. So has he? He's never played in South. Has he? Sorry, are you saying he's never played in South Africa, like for any of the Stormers Bulls? That
No, I'm sure he's played in South Africa before, but most of his professional career was playing overseas. That's where he made a big name for himself. If
oh
you know,
wow, okay. I guess that's the advantage of you guys, yeah, because you can have guys who are contracted still, play full time in like England,
yeah.
outside South Africa, and you can still play for the Springboks, like so it's kind of like still like it's a concept we're fighting against for years, but I don't know whether that changes. Who knows? It's a very touchy subject. So yeah, and after let's say Fussy and
Played in South
I mean
Africa, the Cheetahs actually, eh?
yeah, yeah.
But he
So
played for the Cheetahs once again when people in South Africa really weren't watching the Cheetahs either because when we were still in the Super Rugby, but they weren't.
Yeah, yeah. The Cheetahs are pretty much, is it just exclusively the Curry Cup now, aren't they? Because they were
No,
in
they
the
also played
Eurasian.
the New Championship, the SA Cup,
What's
and
that,
also
sorry?
in the Challenge. They play in the SA Cup and the Challenge Cup as well.
Is that the European Challenge Cup?
Yeah, they also play there as an
Wow.
invitational.
Okay.
They've played for the last 2 years. They've played as an invitational team because they formerly played in the Pro 14 or whatever it was back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
So they still
Interesting.
get invited as an invitational team. So that's
Ah.
pretty neat. At least gives them something to do.
Yeah. 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 Um. Oh yeah. Just so actually, I was speaking of Ellis Park and records. I've actually pulled up this interesting stat. So, and then we'll go to the. This is in South Africa. So let's make that bigger. So this is what? Yeah. So let's go. Ellis Park.
9 and
Not.
6.
Yeah. That's
That's
not too
not too
bad
bad actually.
for the All Blacks.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
actually very good.
It's a pretty. Yeah. I mean. I think we can look up Eden Park. That yeah, the FNB Stadium. I mean, yeah, we've won both games there. Yeah, we haven't played in Port Elizabeth in years. That's, and this is
I don't think
interesting.
they're gonna
Loftus,
play in PE
we
anytime
won
soon.
five and we've won five in Loftus. That's insane. 5-1. Wow. Okay.
Each lost in our home
And
ground.
5-4.
But can I also bring
Mm,
something to your attention? Just a little interesting fact about the game before we get to the New Zealand team, right?
yeah.
Just keep this in mind when you're watching the rugby. If the All Blacks win by 16 points or more, then they will officially pass South Africa on the world rankings.
Oh yeah, because so it's currently
When we drop down to
is
third.
it Ireland? Is Ireland top? Is it? We should bring that. I'll try
No,
to bring
we're
that up.
we're at the top at the
Still
moment,
South
but
Africa.
if we lose, then we drop from first to third, behind both
Yeah,
the All Blacks and us.
yeah. It's pretty even at the moment. So
But it's by 16 points. If we lose by like 15 or less, then we'll just drop below Ireland, but still be ahead of the All Blacks.
yeah, and just for interest, Ian Park 7, South Africa 2. So yeah, yeah. No, yeah. It's certainly a with internet. There's like really. I guess there's like really four elite teams like South Africa, the All Blacks, Ireland and France. Then I guess you've got sort of like England, Argentina chasing, and
Yeah.
behind,
Scotland's not too
behind.
bad either at the
Yeah,
moment.
and Scotland. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Scotland. You've got, and then you've got
Then
like
we
I
get
guess
the
you
next
say,
group featuring, Italy, Australia, Wales, and
yeah, that
Fiji.
pack is
Those
like
guys. So
yeah,
those guys
and
aren't
yeah,
there.
Fiji's in the
Yeah,
yeah,
Fiji
yeah,
is on the same level of Australia and Wales at the moment. There's no doubt
yeah.
about it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
They could be
yeah, definitely.
better.
Yeah, and I guess when they played that game in San Diego, I guess kind of people were like hoping, I guess there was a little bit disappointed. I
Yeah,
guess
I was
people might be a bit disappointed.
disappointed in Fiji. I never expected them to win, but I expected them to give up more of a challenge.
Yeah, like it was pretty one. Yeah, like it was really one sided. I don't know if it was like because it obviously they're out of
I
Fiji.
expected
Who
them to
knows?
do better, to be
Like,
honest.
even in San Diego, it's like yeah, it's just yeah. So this is the All Black squad that was just released a couple of hours ago. I think just over. I watched three
I
and a
think
half
that might
hours
be my
ago.
favorite team.
Yeah, yeah, your favorite team. You've got the jersey, got
Such
the
a good
captain
team.
there,
But this
got
is
TJ Pernar.
such a
So
good team.
yeah, so it's pretty much what we kind of expected. Look, yeah, I mean, so Tamaiti Williams is in for Easton the Groot. Easton the Groot's he's been ruled out the two games. I'm not sure I think he might have returned to New Zealand. I'm not entirely sure. Someone can comment confirm that. Tamaiti Williams, so yeah, he was. I thought he actually had a really solid game against Argentina. So yeah, I mean he's an
I
ex
actually have
Springbok.
no idea who that guy is, Marty
So
Williams.
oh yeah, he's plays for the Crusaders. He's look up the if you're looking for a podcast, Google What a Lad. It's done by this guy James Marshall. He played for the Hurricanes. He's an ex-player. Actually, I think he's one of the coaches at the Hurricanes. But yeah, it's a really good podcast, and they actually did a feature on Tamaiti Williams. Actually, like he's got a really interesting background. He's from Northland originally. That's sort of north of Auckland. His Māori dad. His dad I think played rugby. I think his dad played rugby league or something, or rugby. Someone can correct me again. Then his family moved to Perth, because of to work in the mines over there. He sort of played a bit there, and then it's a really cool. If you look up Water Lad and the Water Lad podcast and Tamaiti Williams, it's 1.5 hours, but it's a really good listen. But yeah, no, it's yeah. He's a beast. I mean, if you see him, you'd think he should be in the NFL. And I've always thought, once he's done, once the All Blacks, once he's kind of passed in the ranking orders in the All Blacks, he should try the NFL because he'd be a great linebacker. He'd be like, and he definitely look him out.
Following Zamet. Follow Zamet's lead.
Tamaiti Williams. Yeah. So you got Cody Taylor. Now you'll notice I'll talk about the 4 C's. That's interesting.
I love Cody Taylor.
Yeah. I think you got to credit him. He of course he had a bit of a sabbatical, so he missed the first half Super Rugby, but he's come back now, and I think he was a bit scratchy, but I think after that was it he's certainly come alive in recent times. Of course, because Sami Soni is still out. I don't know when still no time for him as to when he'll be back. So it's Cody Taylor on, starting. You've got the power of Asafo Moore if you need him. He's been, I guess, Asafo has really sort of been pushing for, for that starting number 2 jersey. So then you got Tyrell Lomax, who no one really talks about, but he's been really, really,
I also kind of like Lomax. He's also one of my. He's a low-key good player. He does a lot on the field, but doesn't get a lot of recognition. He's low-key good, actually.
Yeah, it's like he's one of those players you definitely need. Like he should be, but people just don't notice him. They just, I think for some reason, like Eastern the Groot, because I guess there's a lot of Highlanders, Southlanders. They just, he gets a bit more attention. But Lomax, he's been around for a bit now. He's certainly.
Lomax is low-key actually good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of Lomax.
Yeah. And then you've got Tumafasi, he sort of can cover both if need be, but although he doesn't have to. Then Fletcher Newell as well. So yeah, it's pretty much what we expected. So so that's, I guess, that'll be interesting. Yeah, against your guys, you've got a pretty. I think looking at that Springboks side, front row, that's pretty experienced. Yeah, pretty decent front row. What do you think is going to happen there?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna be a good battle at the front, but I just feel that South Africa, we have our starting 3 at the front that we would love to use there. Like we're not using any compromisations in our tight 3,
Yeah.
That makes sense. You guys have a bit of you guys made a bit of compromisation where we didn't. We have the pleasure that we didn't need to make any compromisations. We just get to use our best possible team.
Yeah, and I think Tamaiti is still, he's got some potential, but he. I guess this will certainly be this will be the toughest game he's played. So this will be, So and I guess it will also be the ref. I think as we should mention the ref as well. It's that English guy. What's his name again? Yeah, I think we were talking about him a couple of weeks back, and I was thinking, certainly you have a Northern Hemisphere ref as well. Tamaiti's never really, he's played mostly Super Rugby and all that, so we know Northern Hemisphere refs are a bit more different. So I think that's it.
At least I'm not one of those type of people to blame a ref. I always blame my own team when they play bad.
Well, All Blacks fans are just as. I mean, Andrew Brace. Oh, sorry, he's not English. Sorry, he's Irish. Yeah, it's Andrew Brace. Should could quickly share that. Okay.
The All Blacks has conceded one penalty more than South Africa in the Rugby Championships thus far.
Oh shit, that pops up. Oh, what am I doing? Ah, sorry. Yeah, I'll make this. There we go. Andrew.
Very high test,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, Andrew. So you've got
Hey,
Andrew
you're on my
Brace.
favorite website now.
Got Andrew Brace. If you can see that. Matthew Carley, Jordan Way, and Brian McNeese. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Northern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere refs. So yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. Yeah, I guess it'll be a new experience for Tamaiti. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah. So, but if he does, I guess on the flip side, if he really shines against you guys, yeah, it's like, yeah, he might have knocked Ethan the Groot off his perch. So there's always two sides to it. So it's his opportunity to shine. So yeah, and he's definitely got the goods, the physique to do it. So yeah. And then you've got Scott. Look, yeah. So with the locks, I mean, so we obviously Scott Barrett sort of had this injury. He's been out for a bit. He's had this injury. He's coming back. He's just sort of coming back. We had Sam Derry and Tupo Bai against Argentina. So Scott Barrett naturally slots back into, but I had one alternate theory, which because I think we'll come to the loose forwards in a bit. I had one theory where they'll keep Sam Derry and Bai in the locks, and then have Scott Barrett as a number 6 with Scott Barrett's a blindside, so they can move Ethan Blackadder to 7 and Artie at 8, just for a bit of bulk.
I'm
But
not actually
yeah, I
sure.
mean,
Like, the only guy, I don't really know Taku Val.
to,
It's the only
so
guy
that's
between the locks that I don't really know.
that Tupo
Val.
Bai.
Vai.
Yeah, Tupo Bai. Sorry. Yeah. Tupo Bai, yeah.
The only guy that I'm not familiar with. Like, obviously, got to know Scott Barrett, and then that
Bai's definitely
Ethan
been coming up.
Blackguard.
Yeah. So Bai's been around for the Chiefs. Yeah, he's been one of the standouts. Like he's been pretty consistent. Um yeah, so no, like I think I mean Sam Derry's sort of like quite new. Like he's done really, really well. Sam Derry played for the Blues. He sort of came in when Patrick Tuipulotu was injured. Like Patrick Tuipulotu is like the Blues captain. And then yeah, he's pretty much he wasn't he wasn't named in the All Black squad, the first All Black squad originally, but because of injuries, he sort of when Scott Barrett got injured, yeah, Sam Derry came in and yeah, like uh he scored against Argentina in his first start. Like it was sort of like a kickoff, the All Blacks counter attack, and he was there to pick it up. And yeah, he's done pretty well. Like still really inexperienced, lots of potential, but like I guess we've moved on from Brody Retallick and Sam Whitelock. We're sort of needing to find our next locking duo. I mean, Scott Barrett's going to be around for a bit. He's a captain, obviously, so I guess Tupo Vai and Sam Derry, and then Patrick Tuipulotu. And Patrick Tuipulotu is injured, by the way. Yeah, he's probably going to be. They're going to be fighting for the other berths. Yeah, so I mean, at the moment, Tupo Vai is kind of like the one of the two first choice locks. So, but they can always bring Sam Derry on, for someone else. Ethan Blackadder. I don't know. Do you remember Todd Blackadder?
No, I actually
He
don't.
he used to coach the
Blackadder and
Crusaders.
Tupo Vai.
Yeah.
The rest of the
So
starting lineup I'm familiar with. It's just those three
yeah.
in the front row that I'm not familiar with.
So Todd Blackadder was the coach of the Crusaders. I think he was coaching in Scotland. I'm not actually entirely sure where he is right now, but yeah, Eason's his son. He's just tall. He's quite tall. Been a bit has had a few injuries, but yeah, like he's sort of, I think a lot of people have sort of been clamoring for him to come in. Like I see him, he can do. He's a blindside who can play. You know, he can play a bit like the sort of like the Richie McCaw, Sam Kane, sort of like role where had the breakdowns. So that's why I thought maybe they could. I mean, that's one option because I guess Sam Kane's obviously not necessarily the biggest player, but he's you can rely on him for tackles and being at the breakdowns. But yeah, but I guess if you needed that bulk in there, you have move Blackadder to 7, and then you have Scott Barron on the blind side. But which we could still see during the test. They might take Blackadder or Kane off. But yeah. But Blackadder certainly, I think like when he came on again, in the second test against Argentina, it was really, really awesome. I think it just needs to be, yeah. I think, yeah, the fact you don't really, he's not, I guess, he isn't really familiar with overseas fans, is probably because he hasn't played as much as he would like, so just due to injury, like, yeah, so, like,
Yeah.
but, yeah. And then Sam Kane,
But
you know,
MK, oh,
this
that
is his,
guy's class. He's one of my favorites.
this is like his, this is like his, farewell road trip, because, of course, if you don't, then, he's
Yeah,
of
because
course
I was
finishing up.
under the impression that he was retiring last year, at the end of the World Cup.
Yeah. And then he had that red card, of course, in the final, which I don't think the
Yeah,
first ever player to be red carded in the final, and also the captain. I think, yeah, it's got. I mean,
it's
it'll
just
be the
unlucky.
greatest.
I'm just saying that was just unlucky.
Yeah, it's the rules, and just I mean, it was
Wrong place
red,
at
and
the wrong time.
yeah, I know, and I think because in that game as well. I mean, Saya was also kind of sort of involved, but in a high, there was a similarly a tackle which some might have thought could have been a red card, similar to Sam Kennedy. But I think
Yeah,
that there was a good, clear reason that he shouldn't have been. But yeah, so that was a good. But yeah, it was just the margins, and but it's nice that Sam King gets a chance to start against South Africa, and get. It'd be nice if he wins the test. It's like kind of like, I mean, it'll never take away. It'll never hide it'll never erase the memory of Japan. But I think
but
it's not Japan, France. Sorry,
but
France.
it's
Yeah,
still at
yeah, but
least something special,
still like yeah, yeah. So Sam Kane, yeah, and Artie Sevilla. Well, you know who Artie Sevilla is. So yeah, interesting. I think
Obviously,
the
he's
All
one of
Blacks,
the best.
they've got him down as captain. Which, well, I mean, he might be captain if they take Barrett off, but and they've got some vice captains. I'm not entirely sure what's happened with this graphic, but yeah.
No, I think I have
Um,
3 people listed as vice captain there. I
that's like two
also
captains and
saw
two
that
vice
this
captains.
morning.
It's like what the
Yeah, I saw something like that.
yeah. So Artie's and yeah. So yeah, I guess because you with you guys in South Africa, like you're 6'7", because I guess in New Zealand it's like 6 is blind side, 7's open side, but you guys it's quite different. I think the 6 is the open side, isn't it? Or you just have left and right flankers, and so 6 is
Yeah,
left, 7's right, or does Rassi not do that?
no, we just keep our flankers, where we need them, I guess.
Interchange
I'm not
them.
gonna lie to you, I've never really paid attention to that. Like
Yeah,
who goes down on which side. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never really been paying attention. I think Sia might be open side,
yes,
and then
yeah, that's a number 6.
yeah,
Yeah, because Scott Berger was the number 6, and yeah, he was like, well,
yeah.
he's as open side. Yeah,
I'm
but
pretty
then
sure he's
again, they had
open side, but I'm not really. I never really pay attention to when the Springboks play. Like who goes sets on the left and who goes sets on the right. It's not something
yeah,
that really I'm paying
it's sort of
attention
like
to.
the
But
change as
I
well.
think almost if I recall correctly, then I think Sia's on the open side.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I was
But
short
yeah,
the
yeah,
flank.
and they
Usually
get
on the
I
open
mean,
side.
you guys play wingers at you use wingers to put balls into the scrum. So yeah, it's like well, I think nothing's to be fair, it's like yeah,
Yeah, nothing
um,
is off limits with our team.
yeah. So
I
yeah,
mean,
so
we
certainly
sometimes we use a flank as a hooker, so
yeah, yeah. So you got Blackadder, Kane, Savia. Yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I mean we're sort of relying on Blackadder and Kane really to sort of muscled out the breakdown. I mean, it's really going to come down to the type five as well. Just to but I think
I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie
got
to you. Looking at the lineup side by side, right? If you look at this lineup side by side, I think South Africa has the better forward pack for this weekend, but the back line for the All Blacks, that's a star-studded lineup.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you got
I
Perenara,
mean,
who's also on the farewell like
D.
tour,
Clark.
like Sam King, D Mac. Look, I mean, yeah, I was actually speaking to a guy who's Myth Damien McKenzie. He's a D Mac fan, and yeah, look, I think D Mac certainly he's coming more of age. And goal kicking, yes,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think you
also a
mentioned
fan of McKenzie. Yeah, I also think he's getting, a bit past his prime now, but he's always
Damien
been good, let's be
McKenzie.
honest.
Damien McKenzie.
What am I missing that side?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's only just sort of come into the All Blacks. Well, he's not really. What I mean is, he's sort of started. He's
Yeah,
really
he's a
fighting
bit
for the
old by
starting
now.
role. So.
'Cause I remember watching him
No,
back at Super Rugby.
he's been around for a bit, but yeah, like I don't. I think he's sort of coming into his peak. I mean, he's sort of because I guess he had Richie Moanga, you had Borden Barrett in front of him.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think
he's never
yeah,
been
I mean,
bad. Don't get me
he's
wrong. I'm not saying he's ever been bad, but I honestly think he's a bit old. Yeah, he's 29 actually. Okay, he's a bit
right.
younger than I thought, honestly. I thought he was like
He's been around
32,
for a bit.
33 by now.
Yeah, but yeah, like I mean, right now he's our best choice. I
He's a
mean,
bit younger than I thought.
Bolden Barrett's going to be fullback. I
Yeah,
think he's recognized he's a fullback now. Can play first five. He'll switch to first five in the second half. And then yeah, I mean Caleb Clark's been really
probably
like he had an
something.
outstanding game against Argentina, so he's in.
Caleb
Um,
Clark's good. He's one of
yeah,
the he's one of the
he
young guys that I know
I
of.
feel he's got more power and just I think there've been sort of questions about his game, but early on, but and then you had Mark Talia Severies, but yeah, I think Caleb Clark definitely deserves it there, and they can always bring on Mark Tully for impact. And Jordy Barrett, yeah, Will Jordan, yeah. So
Oh, Jordy's
they,
class as well. Him, Bowden, Scott, all of the Barretts, they class.
three of them, yeah. So are they gonna with the? I guess yeah, because you're
But
with
even
that
Will
new guy.
Jordan, in my opinion, is a very underrated player, at least in South Africa, because he's also not
Yeah,
someone you really hear a lot about in South Africa. Like even when the people talk on the TV, the presenters, you don't really ever hear them mentioning Will Jordan. But he's someone that I feel is very under the radar, very good player. Like I think he was tied for the most tries or something like that at the World Cup,
y-
or
yeah,
in
yeah. He
contention.
did. Yeah, he's sort of just been coming back from a serious injury that ruled him out of Super Rugby. So yeah, like which is just the fact that he's been able to recover and then just go straight, find his top form. Like, yeah, we just needed him because I think he's got under the high ball. Like, I think a lot of the, I think it was the first two games, like against England, even Fiji, and then Argentina, like the first five, they've started pick up like, the likes of Talia and Severies like cutting in. Whereas, so I think having Jordan there, he's sort of to diffuse the bomb, and he's also he's got the speed and all that, so ability to break. There's been some talk whether he should be fullback, but I mean with both Barrett there, and look, the fact is they will always like you say, they now modern rugby players they just interchange like you could have Jordan playing out at fullback, they just swap, and it's just the fact that you have sort of two you have players who can sort of you can even count DMAC as a fullback if you wanted, but there you can sort of interchange and they can. So it makes it. I guess it'll certainly make it hard for you guys to like kind of predict who's playing where and what's going to happen here. So yeah, it is yeah, I think it is the backline that I was certainly we'd certainly hope for, but yeah, and again it's absolutely going to be the forwards. Look, if the forwards muster up front out like they did against Argentina, then I think we'll be feeling really good. But I think you guys are definitely a step up from Argentina. So, but
But if
Argentina,
you
and that's
look at
one
it,
thing.
if you look at this game on paper this weekend, if you look at this match on paper, South Africa theoretically should be the favorites, right? We won the
Absolutely,
last 2 out of the last 3 times we played. We won the World Cup. We have a lot of momentum. But there's
yeah,
one saying that I always like to use, right? Paper doesn't win a rugby game.
yeah, and this,
On paper, we should be the favorites, but paper never wins a rugby game.
yeah, and anything can happen on the day as well. So and it's
It's
just
always down to the last 80 minutes.
yeah. I guess for you guys, and I think bringing back to Sandor's comment, like
Like I think out of
it's all on you guys to win the game to this weekend. I guess. I mean,
the
it's like
only game
there's
we've
not many.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the
And
only games we've lost were since the World Cup started was against Ireland and again against Ireland.
yeah,
Imagine that.
yeah, and we've lost against Argentina as well, so that's pretty even. Yeah. Yeah. So I've talked about the
No, I
bench
couldn't
and
believe that. Yeah. But even sorry, but just another point on last week's game against Argentina, right? If you look at last week, the All Blacks versus Argentina, the All Blacks really didn't play that well in the second half. I think, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
they only scored 7 points in the second half, same as the All Blacks, because at halftime they were
yeah,
ahead by like 35 points. They ended up scoring 42 in
and
the game.
They took
So,
Damien McKenzie off as
yeah,
well. They put
yeah.
Bodenberg.
So that's so just one thing that I want to a question I'm asking you, ne? Did Argentina play bad or did the All Blacks play good in that game? That's my question now.
Oh, they just dominated the first half. I mean, Argentina are always a team of passion,
Yeah, they
so
really did. The first
they
half it
used
was
to
all Blacks,
yeah.
but
I
the
mean,
second
Eden
half
Park,
Argentina really came into the game.
they did, yeah.
But it doesn't help you start playing the second half and you're already that far behind.
When you're 35 points up, though, like it's like you're never gonna sustain it. It's like like the second half was pretty boring, and it's kind of like, well, we're gonna win this. It's like I mean, Argentina just playing, just trying to limit the damage.
Why
So
take a risk?
yeah, so it's like I think they got their win in Wellington. They that was so, and that's something we'll never forget. Again, that's I guess Argentina just not quite at the side, at that point where they can be consistently, like Ireland now can win, like they know they can do they can win 2 games in a row
No,
against
but
New
Ireland,
Zealand.
Argentina's busy slowly but surely moving their way up the world of rugby.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean,
They've
they're
got
coming
good
off the World
players.
Cup semi-final. They beat the All Blacks this year, and I think they beat them last year or the year before that.
Year before,
So,
yeah. Yeah, and they're rising up, and they've got a good concept for me, and they've got some good players, and their backs are
but
really,
it's the
really
same. You can
exciting.
say the same about Scotland. Scotland is also a team quickly on the rise, even though they've got the third longest losing streak in rugby history at Murrayfield.
Yeah, but they're beating like England, Australia's, and the All Blacks just don't play them that
But
much.
lately,
The
they've
All
been
Blacks.
a very good team, actually.
Yeah, the All Blacks haven't played Scotland and New Zealand since 2002. So, and I think we were meant to play them in 2020, but that got cancelled because of the pandemic. Like, no one could tour, so which was kind of that. They were going to play in Dunedin because Dunedin's the most Scottish city in New Zealand. So,
They
yeah,
didn't play any games in 2020.
yeah. So what? I mean, they just couldn't only play like Australia, Argentina. So, yeah, yeah. So, I guess do you know Sami Penny, Finau, and Cortez Ratimer? And Antonio
No,
Brown, all the Chiefs. Yep, that's
the
3
only
Chiefs
people for
players
the
there.
bench I know is Master Leon, Anton, Leonard Brown. The rest of the bench
Yeah.
I am unaware of.
Wow. LB's been around for a bit. Ratimer's, so he's the Chiefs. He's sort of been coming onto the scene for a while. Yeah. Yeah, he's overtaken, like, you won't notice Finley Christie's, no, he's been dropped completely. So he's playing at NPC. So Yeah, they've
Who
gone
was
for like
that?
Ratimer, Perenara. There's Noah Wholesome who's the
Who's
third
that
half.
striker that made his debut against Argentina, or the game before Argentina against Fiji or something? He
Noah
came off the
Wholesome.
bench.
Noah Wholesome. Is that
Yeah,
the
that
half?
guy wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
I think
he's
so.
good. He's the third choice one. Yeah, he's already he's still I think he's sort of like he had a good
Yeah,
score. I
he
think he's
wasn't
still be
too
coming
bad.
on, but he's no, I think he's one who definitely took his chance. Like, he was on the wider team. He was not named originally, and then like once he played well against Fiji, it was like, yep, no, you got to pick him. Yeah, and no, good time to be.
Yeah, I
his sister
remember.
won a
I can't remember who he made his debut, but he's a new guy.
yeah. His sister actually won a gold medal at Olympics. So Jasmine Wholesome, yeah, and it's a pretty big rugby family from Hamilton. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Ratimer, yeah. So yeah, look, I mean, Paranara has to start just experience wise, because I mean, I think if you chuck Ratimer, there's like, that could, and it's such a new environment. I don't know if Ratimer ever had a chance to play like
I
with
love
bulls or
Perenara.
on.
I don't want to
Yeah,
lie to you. I think Perenara might be my second favorite player on the field this weekend
yeah. Well, you haven't got
because it's Martin and
your last chance
Perenara.
to see him
Okay.
probably listen next weekend. Depending what happens. Yeah, that's
I
because he's finishing
love
up.
Perenara.
Well, he's going to Japan. I don't know if he's. Yeah, look, I mean, the chances are like, I mean, you've got Cam Roygard is coming back soon, then Ratimer, and then Hotham. I mean, Christie could come back in the future if he has a good run. But yeah, like I think Perenara's kind of. I think it's quite clear Perenara's kind of on the way out. So
Yeah.
yeah, this kind of
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, he's in there for
But
the leadership,
Perenara
just to get
has
a
played
try.
for a while, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
But even
So
Rico
yeah,
Ioane isn't actually the youngest person either.
no, he's been around for a bit now. Yeah, it is quite crazy to think. Yeah, I remember these still like just 20-year-olds, and now like even Clark is getting like mid 20s now. Damon McKenzie, as you say, he's 29. So it's just getting weird.
Yeah, even Rico
Barrett's an old
Ioane
man. Like how
is
long can he play
27,
for?
so
Yeah.
no, it's the turn of the tide now, eh?
It's just the way it is. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, so I guess I think
Even
what
Barrett's 33 already, eh?
33. How old is he? I mean, I think he's 32, 33. Yeah, 33. Yeah, so yeah, it's like I
I
wonder how
googled
long
it.
he. Yeah, so I think
No, even
look,
he's coming to the end of his career.
yeah, he's wanting to. So so this is the first. Of course, this is the first of two tests. What do you, I guess we should predict this game, and what are your
Prediction
thoughts for the
time.
series? Yeah,
My prediction, it's too close to call, but I gotta go with the Springboks because it's my boys. I gotta back them, and I'm pretty sure they can do it. But that's the thing, you can't ever like forget about the All Blacks. You can't ever count them out of the game. They
yeah.
always have a chance. But I'm gonna go Springboks by, let's say, 6. I feel it's gonna be that type of
Yeah,
game.
it is gonna be. Yeah, it could be a physical battle. What's the Do you know what the forecast is like for the weekend?
I actually do not.
Yeah. Well, I'll give my predictions. And I mean, to be fair, when's it ever rained at Ellis Park? I've never seen it yet, but I mean, it's an
It hasn't
afternoon
rained here
game,
for a while, but it
yeah,
is said to be partly cloudy.
which is it'll still be a dry track, and it'll be 18 degrees. Yeah,
Probably.
18. Yeah. I mean, without Eben Etzebeth, I was feeling pretty good, but I think I might take a punt I mean, on paper, they've always said that the All Blacks always seem to do better, like at sea level rather than in the high belt. But yeah, although we've actually won more games with the high belt than people think. Like, you saw that record in Pretoria and in Johann and
That's
at Ellis
actually not
Park.
too bad, eh?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty. Yeah, I mean, and people say altitude and all that. I might go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I reckon the All Blacks will win this first test. They're gonna be by 5 points. Um, yeah, 5 points. I'm gonna put it out in the line, and if I get that wrong, yeah, I'll wear a Springbok jersey. So,
It's gonna be a close
yeah,
one, eh?
yeah, it will be close. I don't. Yeah, I think it'll be a shock if like look. I mean, those you remember that? I don't know. You probably might have been too young. Like when the time when the All Blacks like beat South Africa by like what 40 points in Pretoria, but that was like 20 years ago. But they're just like it was such a I think South Africa rugby was in a really big mess at the time, but and the All Blacks were just different. But yeah, I mean generally traditionally these games are tight, so yeah, and I think yeah, so yeah, but I think your series wise, I think 1-1. Yeah, I think if we do 1-1,
I
then I'll be really
I
happy with
also
that.
think it's gonna be 1-1, but that's the thing. If South Africa can beat the All Blacks at least one out of two times, and we can beat Argentina both times, then we've got the Rugby Championship in hand.
Yeah,
So we just need to one
is
of two.
that
We just need to split the series. I'll be happy if we can do that.
yeah? Like we would need to because that defeat against Argentina didn't help us at all. You guys beat Australia twice.
Yeah,
We fought Australia, yeah. So even if
exactly.
we beat Australia twice, yeah, I mean, I think that Argentina would defeat in the first game could hurt us. So, but
We
yeah, I
just need
mean,
to
if we
beat you
pull
guys
two games,
once and then
then it's
Argentina
right
both times.
back
Then we
into.
have this thing in the bag.
If we win both games in South Africa, then it's like, oh wow, we're in the
Exactly.
box seat. But
Argentina's a tough
yeah,
team to beat. That's how.
yeah, it makes it good. Yeah, I mean, it's a close
And we have to
competition.
travel to Argentina, and they're good at home.
Both, yeah, yep. And then we've got the Bledisloe. It's New Zealand. Yeah, I think it's in Wellington first, and then in Australia. But I've got
That's
to
gonna
check
go.
that again.
That's gonna go home. You guys know that's gonna come to New Zealand. The
Yeah,
Bledisloe
yeah.
Cup.
Wow, it's been in New Zealand for since 2003. So
Three, I think.
yeah, yeah, 20. Yeah, so that's absolutely
It's
amazing. But
2003 the last time. I actually went and checked the Bledisloe Cup stats the other day.
yeah,
Just out of
yeah,
curiosity.
yeah, and so I guess we might just slowly wrap up. But look, we've seen Rossi do some pretty interesting things. The 6-2 bench, um,
That guy is
using a
a magician.
halfback. Oh yeah, and of course I think the was it that you know passing between. Did you see the Brisbane? Remember the Brisbane game where
When we had
they
the back
passed within
pass,
the
long
lineup?
pass.
Yeah,
We
that was
actually did that exact same. That's actually a classic line-out move in South Africa for the high school.
really okay.
Like the first, like we did it in high school. Like a bunch of like people, like high school coaches think we're smart, right? Let's trick them like this. So we've actually done that in high school as well. It's actually become like a thing. So I'm glad to see the Springboks doing it as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
But
what
even
crazy move have you
we
seen?
also in that exact same game we had Kobus Reinach falling into the back line with
Yes,
ball before going up to
that's
scrum.
the winger the winger putting the ball in the scrum. Yeah, that's. I was like, wondering what?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
So
an interesting affair.
yeah, yeah. Oh well, look, hey, I might just slowly wrap up. But hey, look,
All good, man.
um,
It was
thanks
a
for the
pleasure being
time.
here
This was
today.
great. Yeah, and look, I don't. It's 3 a.m. in New Zealand, so I'll admit I might not. I probably won't watch this live. I'll watch this delayed. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't
Also,
yeah. I'll
kind of,
tell you.
feeling a bit
I might ask
tired.
you don't message me when I'm don't message me on Instagram because I might end up watching it a little bit delayed. So yeah, just on because yeah, it's 3 in the morning I'm not. Yeah, but yeah, no, certainly definitely something to watch. I'll watch the game delay, even if I know the result, because I'm quite mature now. It's like, and just analyze the game. So yeah, but it should be good. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll wait till after the game. I'll wait till you message me. How does that
Yeah.
sound?
Oh, much appreciated. Yeah. Hey, look, thanks, Alan, and yeah, no, this is really good and great chat, and yeah, and I hope the sound was all right. So yeah, look, we'll wish may the best team win, and hopefully it's a good game, and might see each other another.
Good luck.
All right, you take care and have a good day. So all right,
Cheers, man.
cheers, mate. Bye. See
Bye.
ya.